In tonight's headlines, woman who was 4 months pregnant succumbs to her injuries 2 days after being hit by a truck in Kwun Tong. Political party warns against raising taxes, while calling for restrictions against Shenzhen visitors to be eased. And Papua New Guinea declares state of emergency after riots kill 15 people.
The grief was unimaginable for family members who had been hoping for a miracle. A pregnant woman has passed away 2 days after she was hit by a truck. The 31-year-old was rushed to Kwun Tong Hospital on Tuesday after sustaining severe injuries to her head. Her 4-month-old fetus could not be saved, and the mother-to-be remained in critical condition. It is understood her heart stopped beating this morning, and she was eventually certified dead at 11:32 a.m. Her husband, who had spent the last 2 nights outside the ward, said doctors had already performed a procedure to lower the pressure in her cranium. Expecting their first child, he insisted his wife was very cautious whenever she was out and about. He also rejected claims that she crossed the road recklessly. The tragedy took place just after 3 p.m. on Tuesday. The heavy truck was traveling along HOYIBC Road in Kwun Tong and knocked down the woman as it turned into Tunyip Street. Her relatives said surveillance footage obtained from a nearby shop confirmed she had checked the road condition before stepping out. The 59-year-old truck driver was earlier arrested for dangerous driving causing grievous bodily harm. Janice Yu, Cable News.
The former head of Queen Mary Hospital has voiced his opposition towards the government's plan to charge emergency room patients according to their level of urgency. Speaking on radio, Lok Che-chung feared such a proposal would easily lead to disputes. He pointed out public hospitals already have a system in place to prioritize care for patients with urgent needs. But around 10% of non-urgent patients were still admitted after treatment, he added. Lok insisted there is no time for staff to handle disputes in the emergency room, as they must be fully prepared to save lives. Raising fees may not deter non-urgent patients either, as many end up in the emergency ward late at night when private clinics are closed.
In a major operation, the Police Commercial Crime Bureau arrested 35 people in the past 2 days on suspicion of fraud. The suspects aged 24 to 62 are believed to be members of 3 scam rings. Officers were tipped off by the Innovation and Technology Commission last year over certain applications of the Technology Voucher Program, or TVP. Launched in 2016, the TVP is aimed at encouraging enterprises to improve productivity by upgrading their digital infrastructure. Police said the swindlers persuaded companies to apply for the vouchers and offered to sort out the necessary paperwork.
We discovered that the intermediary company will recruit the applicants through cold call or through social media. The intermediary will help the applicant to apply the TVP program. And once the TVP subsidies is granted, they will split the subsidies in a 6:4 or 7:3 ratio.
The swindlers set up a number of shell companies to generate fake documents required for the voucher applications. Housewives or sailors with no technological know-how would then be employed to run these companies. Police have so far busted 50 or so bogus applications, asking for subsidies of around $10 million. As of last November, the program has received 35,000 applications, 29,000 of which were successful. Janice Yu, Cable News.
With the next budget just weeks away, political parties are keen to have their proposals heard. The Business and Professionals Alliance, or BPA, is the latest group to knock on the door of the Financial Secretary's office. The second largest bloc in the Legislative Council told Paul Chan now was not the time to raise taxes. even as the government is facing a massive deficit.
The primary objective is to create a harmonious environment, to create an attractive, competitive business environment for us to really to develop our business and to make our economy to grow. Having additional tax would definitely diminish our competitiveness in terms of as a prime tourist destinations.
The party also opposes the idea of imposing a capital gains levy, saying it flies in the face of the SAR's slow and simple taxation system and may tarnish the city's reputation. To rejuvenate tourism-related industries, the BPA is calling on authorities to scrap entry limits for Shenzhen visitors. Restrictions were imposed in 2015 after the daily lives of residents in border districts were severely disrupted by parallel trading activities. Since then, Shenzhen tourists can only visit Hong Kong once every week. The BPA believes the rules should be relaxed as soon as possible, adding a departure tax as proposed by the Liberal Party could hurt cross-border relations. Veteran lawmaker Michael Tian speculated that visa adjustments could be made before Lunar New Year early next month. But he admitted there may be resistance from Shenzhen businesses as they could lose consumers with spending power. Janice Low, Cable News. Cathay Pacific has once again promised that all flights will run as scheduled during the Lunar New Year travel peak next month. But the pledge was made at the expense of slashing around a dozen flights every day between now and the end of February. Chief Executive Ronald Lam apologized to passengers, saying the company has let them down. He admitted the airline has underestimated the number of standby pilots needed during the flu peak season. A working group led by the Chief Operations and Service Delivery Officer will review the incident and make improvements. But Lam sidestepped a question whether the company can really return to full capacity by the end of the year.
This year, we'll continue to work towards fully rebuilding our flights and network. But as we have learned from this incident, I think one important factor as we rebuild is that we have to ensure our schedule, our flights are reliable and stable for our customers. So there's a balance we have to take in terms of the pace of our rebuild.
A state of total lawlessness. The scenes resembled a Boxing Day bargain hunt, except it wasn't. Hundreds of looters were seen streaming out of a supermarket in Port Moresby, latching onto whatever they could grab off the shelves. Another video filmed from a different angle showed people smashing their way into stores at the shopping mall. The opportunistic act began after police and civil servants in the Papua New Guinean capital staged a walkout upon discovering that part of the salary had been docked.
Police were not at work yesterday in the city, and people resorted to lawlessness up and about. Not all people, but in certain segments of our city.
Things soon turned ugly, and 15 people were killed amid the looting and arson. Marape blamed the smaller paychecks for officers on a computer glitch.
We acknowledge, we look into how we could correct, we look at how we would bring responsible people to face a full arm of law.
He added the situation has calmed down after police reinforcements have arrived to maintain order. Nevertheless, calls are mounting for the Papua New Guinean leader to resign. Apart from one of the highest crime rates in the world, residents on the Pacific Islands nation also battle inflation and unemployment, both of which are worsening amid a prolonged economic slump. Neighbouring Australia is keeping a close eye on the situation. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said he has not received a request for assistance. Meanwhile, Beijing has lodged a protest after shops run by Chinese nationals in Port Moresby have been targeted. 2 Chinese nationals were injured so far. Raymond Yang, Cable News.
There was relief for investors after Hong Kong stocks finished in positive territory for the first time this year. The Hang Seng Index added 1.3%, ending a 7-session losing streak. Mainland fund managers came bargain hunting after the benchmark hit a 14-month low yesterday. Wuxi Biologics was one of the biggest gainers of the day, picking up 8.7%. Its subsidiary Wuxi Aptech also advanced 6.7%. A stock buyback saw food delivery platform Meituan bounce back from a 4-year low, gaining 5.4%. Li Auto was up 4.4% after investment bank Jefferies predicted a 30% growth in the Chinese EV market this year.